Hi, I'm Patrick Gill, Eagleview's SVP of Commercial Imagery and Data, and I believe I'm talking to Dylan Kesler, our new head of AI, or is this Sora?
You'll have to see if you can tell the difference. That would be a Turing test in and of itself. Alan Turing said that you'll know AI exists when you can't tell the difference between a person and the AI itself. So you'll have to test it.
I think you're a person.
Probably.
Dylan, for those who may not know, can you give us your definition of what artificial intelligence is and what the different types of AI are?
Okay, the definition of AI has been somewhat unclear for many years. In general, we might say that AI is characterized by a machine operation that accomplishes something that we would think of normally as people, something that people would do. But people have claimed that machine learning models were AI early on, and those were based on statistical probabilities, data-driven models, and they did amazing things. We still use them. They weren't quite AI, what we think of today. We applied the same ideas to the early neural networks that came out because they also produced amazing insights. The deep learning models that came out after that, they produced interesting insights. But we might not say that those were actually doing the things that people would do. And I think today's models that we're seeing, you can log online and you can ask for poems, you can ask for art and images, and those models will produce that. I think we know that that is actually artificial intelligence. It's doing things that people might do. But if you ask the nerd in me, and you are asking the nerd in me, I like the test that set up by I like the test that was set up by Alan Turing. So you might remember Alan Turing. He was a code breaker. He built the code breaker machine in World War II that broke the Nazi codes. He's also thought of as a father of computer science. And even way back then, he said, we will know artificial intelligence when a regular person can't distinguish between a conversation with another person and a conversation with a machine. And I think we've all seen in the last year or two that that has clearly been what's developed. So I think we're well into the world of artificial intelligence now.
Dylan, can you talk about artificial intelligence versus machine learning, how they're the same thing, how they're different things? I think that would help us all understand both.
Yeah, if we think of machine learning, it will often answer a single question at a single time. So what is the distance of something? Estimate the probability of something. What's the likelihood of something? Will the market go up? Will the market go down? And those are built on data-driven models that are fed in and fit to algorithms, but those data tend to be sort of unidirectional with regard to a single question. Very useful stuff. Underneath that they can be statistical models, it can be neural networks, other approaches as well. When those come together, and I will say that machine learning still underpins a lot of what we think of as AI, but when we define that AI, it's going past answering a single question. It's often going and answering something much more abstract. Can you write a poem for me? Can you draw a picture? Or it's answering based on a sequence of events. So it actually provides reasoning about a situation, much deeper than just answering a yes or no, is this important or not? But they are certainly intertwined.
We're talking with Dylan Kesler, Eagleview's new head of AI. And next question for you is your vision of AI as a whole. When you think about that, the future of AI, what excites you the most about it? What excites you or maybe scares you the most about it? How can it transform industries at large?
I'm really excited to see the types of technologies that we've seen in movies for years, but those technologies have been in research labs, and they might have been in defense labs, they might have been in government spaces, doing things for defense and government and research. But I'm really excited to see those coming into industry, helping regular people and helping the industries that we work with and that everybody works with. Fundamentally, these technologies can handle tons of data and information and make sense of that. They can provide insights and reasoning about that data. And those tasks are needed everywhere. So understanding information about materials, logistics, patterns, trends, these are all squarely within the purview of AI. And those are key to industries like construction and real estate, insurance, solar, sales, the sorts of things that we work with at Eagleview and that others work with. In fact, the AI will make the biggest and broadest impact in those areas. It gets into the hands of regular people and industries, and it will actually advance all of that industry. And that's one of the things that we're doing here at Eagleview. We're combining our absolutely awesome imagery data with new AI capabilities so that our customers, all of them, have the best-in-class information and capabilities available to them. So it's in everybody's hands.
You know, the way I think of AI, Dylan, in terms of how it can improve what I do is I am one of those people who has way more ideas, for better or for worse, than I can actually activate. And I feel like if I'm using the AI tools and resources correctly, then on a daily basis, I'm somehow allocating some of those questions, some of those ideas, some of those things I can't explore to sort of someone else. And that's what I try to make sure I do in terms of almost like another one of my direct reports is give problems, give things to explore to this amazing outlet that it makes me faster, it helps me go deeper, gives me new ideas. That's one way I try to direct my work on a daily basis. I know that's a bit constrained, but that's at least sort of a phase one for me to do my own activation of AI. I don't know where we'll use that.
I think it was Edison, and well, all right, I'll respond to that, but I need to go back and check the quote. But I think it was Edison that said, the hard part about ideas is the doing of it. And so exactly, the AI gives us that capability to execute on those ideas.
Next question is exactly sort of right there, which is how do you see AI reshaping the balance between human expertise and technology in the next 6 months to 12 months to however long you want the window to be? But I'm presuming we shouldn't think too far ahead with all the uncertainty, even for the next near term.
AI will certainly be making strong contributions to everything we do. You see bets on it happening across all of industry. But even though it's going to advance substantially, there's a long way to go just to engage with AI that's available to us right now. So lots of integration, everybody's spinning up. We're working on it. That's one of my primary goals, to take that capabilities and embed them and integrate them into the things that our industries do. So a lot of work to do there. But then AI will pick up the repetitive tasks that people do, the things that are often annoying. If you're doing something over and over, AI is probably well equipped to do that. It'll take up the jobs that require ingestion of tons of data and thinking about those tons of data and summarizing that. We've all seen that it's very good at that. And while AI can reason through some challenges today, it's not exactly at the capability of reasoning that people have. It's one of the challenges. We expect it to advance, but people still are much better at thinking long-term and steps and creatively as far as reasoning goes. So people will be on the loop for a long time, and people will be key. AI will be a tool that we're using.
Well, and undoubtedly being in the industry or in the field of AI, as long as you have principles for how it's best used and guided. What are yours?
Yeah, everything we do with AI at Eagleview and in every industry requires guidance. We need to be able to see the what, why, and the how of what AI is doing. We need to see into the approaches it's using. We need transparency into those model behaviors. We can all name movies that depict AI as taking over the world. Those are fictitious stories, but it has been shown, and we've seen it in the news and in the real world, where AI can behave badly for its own benefit and in other bad ways. So we need checks in place to ensure that there's not discrimination, that the responses are fair, and that they're accurate. So clearly those structures should be there, where people are overseeing what the AI does. And like most computer activities, privacy and data rights are key, and they should be monitored. And AI is not necessarily equipped to do that on its own. People need to be in the loop for that.
We're talking today with Dylan Kesler, Eagleview's new head of AI.
Hey, Patrick.
Dylan, how do you see Eagleview setting the standard for the usage of AI to generate precision property data, not just keeping pace, but leading the field?
Eagleview has a long history of being an industry leader. And to some degree, the underpinning reasons for those past successes will also generate it or guide it as a leader in the AI space. It has excellent leadership, strategic vision, supporting mechanisms, those sorts of things. And that will help in the AI arena as well, just like it has in the imagery arena. Eagleview has an awesome culture of transparency, ownership, support for the projects that it tackles. And the AI development team will have to move really quickly in order to engage new technologies that are out there. They'll have to work together. So culture is key. and one of the reasons that I wanted to join Eagleview. It's one of the things I asked about a lot before coming to Eagleview. I'm really impressed with what's here. Everyone should know that from a technical perspective, the data are key as well, and they're key to the success in industries that are using AI. And Eagleview has an incredible high resolution and long-term imagery data set. Really, really important for developing novel inventions with AI. And it has unique data. It has oblique angles. It has incredible image processing pipelines. All those are going to underpin the AI that comes forward. So those are the ingredients that you need to bring together: the team, the talent, the culture, and the new and novel information. It's exactly what AI needs for breakfast.
I love the idea of AI eating breakfast. It makes it a lot more approachable to think about it at the table in the morning, but couldn't agree more. We have positioned this business to interact best with AI tools, whether ours or others, and that's exactly where we intend for this business and our industries that we serve to go in the future, and thanks to experts like yourself. Dylan, where are the biggest opportunities in our industry for AI to give business owners an advantage for their clients?
Eagleview is a business of fundamentally capturing data imagery, and then using that imagery to better understand the world. So that understanding can be narrow, understanding the detailed aspects of a house, or it can be broad, like understanding the approaches towards recovery after a natural disaster. Eagleview One is our public-facing platform where we distribute that data, and that becomes a hub for all these activities: the imagery, the derived data products, and also it'll be our AI platform. So that'll come forward for folks. Together, these will come together and bring the synergy of that information that our customers are seeking, better understanding of the world.
Eagleview's value proposition for our customers has always been about precision and premium data that they can trust. How does our usage of AI help us to do that even more so in the coming years?
The expansion of AI at Eagleview, it'll help both to add precision to the existing stack and tools that can enhance the quality of the data that we have as well. It'll bring together new data streams. It'll make those accessible for all of our customers. The AI will literally look at each challenge from all angles, something we're very good at here at Eagleview. And it comes up with new solutions and insights that'll be available to the customers.
And it'll help us to do all of that even faster, I presume, as well.
You bet.
Awesome. If you were talking directly to one of our customers, an adjuster, a contractor, an appraiser, an inspector, a public works official, all the different industries that we serve, how would you explain the impact of AI at Eagleview on their work?
I might start broadly and say that the power of AI will bring new and more precise insights about our geospatial environment. That's a through line for all of our customers, and that applies to both focused challenges, understanding the features of a particular structure, a roof or a building, for example, and the broader environment. So understanding greater geospatial situation or what a community might need for a county, understanding those large scale questions as well. AI will make all these insights much easier to access, whether it's for someone in the construction industry who wants to interact with a roof report using natural language, or an adjuster who may want to make comparisons across multiple structures and histories, or for governments who need rapid information after a disaster, or evaluations of changes of properties for assessments. All these are complicated activities, and AI will help make sense of all these and make their jobs easier.
Easier in the sense of know more and do more in less time?
And AI will work up the question stack. It's the questions that our customers had. At one point in time, our customers wanted to look at imagery, and imagery is very important. And they would look at that imagery to try to answer the questions that they had. They'd look at the images and they'd make comparisons and they'd evaluate that. Then we can work up so that there's machine learning evaluations of that imagery. So now they don't necessarily have to look at the images, but they have information, say, about the structures in that imagery. AI will help us take it to the next level where they can ask questions about, have things changed? Where are things happening? The deep questions that our customers have, AI will get closer to those questions so that the work that they have to do is reduced.
Dylan, how do we ensure that AI solutions are not just powerful, but also intuitive and usable for the end customer?
We've all seen how easy it is to interact with some of the new agentic systems online. You can ask open-ended questions, you can get creative answers back. You can ask for poems or pictures. Our customers are also seeking answers to those questions about structures, about landscapes, about change. But they also may be looking across and they might want some suggestions. They might have a very specific question and they may want general answers or be piqued. Their interest be piqued by some of the general answers they get. It's one of the reasons we're putting together Eagleview 1. It's a platform that contains all of that information. Our customers will be able to ask their specific questions. They'll be able to get exposure to other information and data that are there and able to get answers to general questions that are out there. It'll be based on all of the data that we have and the approaches we have, and AI will become a big component of that too. So they can interact with natural language, they can get suggestions, and they can ask open-ended questions about the landscapes that we represent.
When you think about what success looks like for your role as Eagleview's head of AI 6 to 12 to 18 months from now, what should customers be experiencing differently as a result of your leadership?
If we think of the changes that we've witnessed in the last 12 to 18 months, we can multiply that by a factor of 10. The acceleration is just getting started. In the last 18 months, we've been able to ask AI general questions, and it might answer those questions like a high schooler or a grade schooler would, with general answers. In the next 18 months, we'll find those abilities become specialized. In the industries that we're supporting, the AI will stop acting like a grade schooler. It'll act more like a professional. It'll bring those professional tools and capabilities for those specialized jobs. So we're developing agentic systems here that are specialized, that will serve our current customer base as well as new customers. We're making those also broad so that they're specialized and intelligent systems, but they also have intelligent information that may reach outside of the areas that we're working in. So incredible geospatial intelligence is what we expect to see in the next 12 to 18 months.
The leaps and bounds that AI has come in the last 12, 6, really even 3 months is both exciting, maybe a little scary, probably both, but definitely exciting. And I can't wait to see what we do with it thanks to your leadership, not just in the next 3, 6, and 12, but 1, 2, 3, and 5 years from now. I'm having a hard time imagining what that is, but I know it'll be exciting. I know we'll solve more problems for our customers, and I can't wait to be a part of that. Not surprisingly, but it doesn't really feel like curriculum has caught up with both the realities of AI in terms of kids leveraging it to solve problems, but also like the opportunities for it in terms of humans leveraging it to solve problems. And so we're in this weird kind of intermediate period where we're not really doing either of those things, and it just seems like a waste. Just curious if, given certainly the fact that you're a parent and a practitioner, if you have a perspective on that.
Yeah, I have mixed feelings about that. So I watch my son and he interacts with AI and he comes up with answers that I certainly wouldn't have come up with. And he thinks about things that I might not have thought about because it's spurred on by what he runs into. And then I can see the schools also really trying to push kids to learn and be creative when they write, and fighting against getting AI generated answers because they want the kids to think critically. I understand both of those, but then I also look at the workplace, and at work, we might encourage people to use AI as much as possible so that they can work more efficiently and faster and better, quite frankly. And we don't see that in the schools right now. So that's sort of the flip side of it. How do you develop a curriculum that encourages kids to think critically and think for themselves, and at the same time actually embrace all those tools that are out there? Sometimes I go back and think about it, and I came about just at the time that computers were being used with spell checkers. And there was a time when people thought if you used a spell checker, you weren't writing at all. But I think we all use that tool now. And I suspect that in the future, the schools will also be doing the same thing with AI. They'll think if you're not using the AI, you're not using all the tools at your disposal.
I can remember when I was using a calculator, probably too much in terms of, doing math in my head, so to speak. This is a while ago, obviously. And now, of course, we don't use pen and paper for almost any math problem between Siri or Excel or what have you. But at the same time, I'm glad I struggled through sort of forcing myself not to use it to be able to validate that, check that, what have you. This is a different animal, obviously. And in fact, by the way, my kids are the ones that taught me AI is not good at math, which means they'd obviously tried it. So I'm learning from them. They're not so much learning from me. I hope we can flip that around someday. But it's incredible how far it's come, which means the curriculum needs to meet it there. And we're just not there in terms of secondary schools. Maybe higher ed is a bit further ahead. I don't know. But certainly secondary schools have a ways to go, it seems.
Sure, I can think back when I was a professor at the university. I taught a class. It was called technical writing, and it was an ecology sort of class, but it was really about how to write scientific papers, and people worked really hard to get through that. And I think about today, if they were using the AI tools we had, they could get through that much better and more quickly, and probably do the fundamental thing that they were trying to do, which was present the information about the science that they were working on much more effectively. And so it would be fantastic to be able to have those tools for those, I call them kids, but they were full-on college students, adults, for those folks to be using it early in their careers.
Seems like also prompt writing is a science more than an art, and so could be taught. And I myself have been trying to keep up on the best practices of prompt writing. I think one of the first things we all learned, some more recently than others, is it's not just a Google search box. You need to give the GPT much more information. And I try to think about it in terms of, if I was writing on a full-size sheet of paper what I wanted an intern to do that day, and they couldn't ask me follow-up questions, although I know that you can construct a prompt such that AI can ask you follow-up questions, and maybe should. But if they couldn't, and forcing myself therefore to say sort of everything I wanted them to do and not do, that's the prompt. And that's taken me a while to get there, but certainly there's a science to it. And at some point we should be teaching that science less or more publicly and less commercially, because I know I've seen these courses available than we are today. And back to maybe that should be in schools. Probably that should be in schools. So that's one opportunity I see for it.
I love the prompt writing part, because it really does require that you boil down the essence of what it is you're working on, and you write that abstract very clearly and very succinctly. And the better you are, the better the answer comes out. And in some ways it's circular, because that's what's needed in order for the AI to understand, because the AI did all the reading on all the literature to understand it. And so greatly written prompts, give great answers. I actually think that exercise is a critical thinking exercise that's wonderful.
Yeah, I wonder also if at least EMBAs next, as far as helping executives understand exactly what it is they want to do with AI at their company. They all want to do something, but more specifically, what is that? EMBAs probably will have a significant AI curriculum component to them, or should. And maybe that's sort of the first place we see this, since those are a bit shorter term and obviously of high value. But likely then it comes downstream all the way to elementary school, I presume, where we have to be very careful with AI. But nonetheless, anything we have to be careful with, we have to teach our kids about. And so there it is again, secondary schools. That was a bit of a ramble, but that's also a perspective. I think EMBAs are going to really embrace this, as they should, I hope.
Yeah, I think one of the challenges when I had graduate students starting, when I was a graduate student, or when I was a student writing essays, and you see it in business tool, you see in business also, is the question of what is it you're doing? I can't say how many papers I launched into in college, and I was going to write a paper, but I didn't know what it was about, and I didn't know the specifics of it, and I spun my wheels for days. And starting graduate students inevitably do that, and you got to boil it down. What is the question you're going to ask in your thesis? One sentence, not a ramble. I think we have to do that when we work with AI and that prompt writing, and it's actually it is exactly that thing that causes problems in business. What are you building? In graduate school, what questions are you asking? In grade school, what is your essay about? I think it's excellent to have people actually boil it down to that.
Yeah, what's the quote? The hardest part is getting started. I'm sure I just murdered that, but certainly that's easier in one regard than it used to be, meaning if you have the right prompt, AI can help you at least get started, but then you're still at the issue of getting the right prompt and getting that started. But nonetheless, maybe that's decomposing that get started problem a bit more, making that a bit easier. Thank you, Dylan Kesler, Eagleview's head of AI, for being with me today. It's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Patrick. That was great fun.